How to make $1 million in 1 year. Ever wonder what it takes to make $1 million in 1 year? How can you be $1 million richer 365 days from now? Stay tuned to this video to find out. What's up, you guys? This is Derek West from BTP Fusion. Here on BTP Fusion, we like to talk about the synergy between business, technology, and personal finance. If you would learn more about how tech can enable business and personal financial growth, drop kick that like button and vigorously tickle the subscribe button. And don't forget the notification bell so YouTube lets you know when I upload more great content. Question for you. How many NBA players were there in North America last year? Answer. On opening day of the 2018-2019 season, there were 494 players. Another question. How many American football players were there last year? 1,696 made the opening day roster last year. How many pro baseball players? There were 750 players at any one time in 2019. There have been 19,183,000 baseball players who played in a Major League Baseball game since the original league was founded in 1871. How many millionaires were in the United States in 2018? Are you sitting down for this? 11 million millionaires. Wacky Statistic of the week. There are almost 1 million millionaires in California alone, with Texas being a distant second with 566,000, followed closely by New York and Florida to round out the top 4. So it is way easier to be a millionaire than it is to be a professional athlete. If you are within the sound of my voice, you can be a millionaire as well. All it takes is a little bit of strategic planning, living under your means, and investing the rest. So that's easy. What about making $1 million in 1 year? That is significantly harder to do. Much harder. And I mean much harder. So much harder, it isn't even funny, but it's not impossible. According to IRS data, approximately 500,000 people made $1 million or more in 2017. That is more people than have ever played in MLB, NFL, and NBA combined. Again, it's not easy, but it's not impossible. Let me preface this all by saying, this is not one of those videos where someone is selling you a course. I'm not going to point you to anyone else selling you a course. No one will be selling you anything when you watch this video. This is 100,000% free. No upsells, no clicking over to a webinar. This is free content to help educate you on the possibilities that are out there and how it is now easier than ever for anyone to make $1 million in 1 year. And remember, if you take this advice to heart, you have the potential to make more than $1 million in a year. But let's say you fall short and only hit 800,000 in 1 year. That's not the worst fate in the world, am I right? Simply dust yourself off and give it a go again the next year. You can do it, and here's how. To accomplish any goal, you need to know what the size of it is. Once you know the size of the target, then you figure out where you are in comparison. As an example, if you have a goal of visiting Los Angeles, but you don't know where you are, or you don't care to ask anyone, you'll have a hard time getting there. If you don't know how to tell east from west, you'll have a hard time getting there. If you don't know how to measure a mile, you'll have a hard time getting there. If you don't know the method of transportation you can afford, you'll have a hard time getting there. Am I starting to make sense? First thing, measure your target. In our case, $1 million in 1 year. What does that look like in dollars per week? $1 million divided by 52.14, the number of weeks in a year, is about $19,200 in a week. If you turn that into a paycheck that you can earn about every 2 weeks, that comes out to be a $38,300 paycheck. Needless to say, there are very few companies that are willing to pay that kind of paycheck to anyone. There are, of course, CEOs who make much more than that, and also VPs and other high executives in large corporations that make that kind of money. But if you're just an average Joe on the shop floor, chances are you'll never make that kind of money. Well, I bet you're wanting to know, where can I go to make that kind of money? Well, I bet what you want to know is, where can I go to make that kind of money if I'm not the CEO of a corporation? There are tons of ways to do that, and I'll just list 3, starting with sales. If you sell a product that brings in a sales commission of $1,000, you need a total of 83 sales in a month to make $1 million in a year. I know what you're thinking, and you're right. It isn't easy to make one sale of an $1,000 product. How am I going to make 83? Well, first of all, making a sale of a $1,000 product isn't really that bad. particularly if you know who you're selling to and if you know your product well. Secondly, you don't need to do all the work. You could create a sales team and you could split the profits with them. If you can find 10 people that can sell 33 products per month, you will hit your goal. The average commission to the broker, that'd be you, would be $250. And the sales folks would get the rest of the commission. And voila, you hit your goal. Let's say you have more technical skills. You're in IT in some capacity. I will preface this by saying you can make a pretty good living working for a large company in the IT industry. But you may find it tough to even come close to earning $1 million in a year. Unless you become CIO of a large company or you're in on the ground floor of a new tech startup, it can be pretty tough to make $1 million in 1 year. That being said, if you start an IT consulting firm, the numbers change in your favor. Companies the world over need IT help, and you can help them and not know how to write a single line of code. You could procure contracts from companies and then hire consultants to execute that work. Let's say you charge $150 per hour per contractor for your work. The engineer would get $75 an hour. You would get the other half. You will need to find 1,100 hours of work per month to hit your goal. But as the leader of this IT consulting firm, that is your job, reaching out to tech people and informing them why your team is the best at what they do and how they can help your company or the other company deliver on their goals. But yeah, if you can do that, you will be earning just over $1 million in 1 year. The other million-ton elephant in the room, real estate. Real estate is the driver of fortunes for millions of people around the world. And what I'm about to show you should help to explain why. In reality, real estate is a subset of the sales model we talked about earlier, but instead of earning $1,000 in commission, depending on the price of the house, you could earn tens of thousands, even millions on a single sale. But let's say you're not selling $100 million mansions and your average house sale is $500,000. If your average commission is 6%, your cut of that, 70%, would come out to $21,000. You would then need to sell 5 houses per month to make just over $1 million in 1 year. That is still a Herculean feat. Again, you must scale your enterprise, become a broker. You then get 30% of the total commission, meaning you get just $9,000 for each sale, but you would hire 10 agents to only sell 1 house a month. Now I can already hear what you're saying. None of those things is easy to do. I don't like sales, and I've never sold a thing in my life. I have no IT skills, and I wouldn't know where to begin to start soliciting for IT contracts. I don't like sales, and real estate is even harder to sell than aluminum siding. I never said making $1 million was going to be easy. I never said that you weren't going to need to learn new skills, become more personable, learn how to sell. In fact, you're going to have to learn to do most of these things if you're ever going to earn more than $1 million in a year. But the typical responses that I just listed is kind of indicative of a larger issue when it comes to earning $1 million in a year. Earning that kind of money is mostly psychological. All the things I listed above have been done by human beings before, and you can do them also. None of the things I talked about require superhuman intelligence. In fact, one would argue that they require very little intelligence. So why is it that so few people actually do it? Remember when I said that 500,000 people earned $1 million a year in 2017? Why didn't 1 million people earn that much money? 20 million, 100 million. The sad truth is that most people don't believe in themselves and their abilities. Most people don't believe that they have the intelligence to do these things. Most people have so little faith in themselves and the skills they have, they settle for a simple job with a simple paycheck, or worse, welfare. They complain to all their friends, who are all doing the exact same thing as them, and all complaining about the same things. You know, their lousy boss. They assume their life will continue on the way it always has, and they will not take the extra effort, the extra time, or learn the extra knowledge that will take them from zero to hero. Is that you, or do you think you can rise above? Join the conversation. Drop us a comment. Where am I wrong? Maybe you've earned $1 million in 1 year. Be sure to flex in the comments down below with a link to your Instagram page with you in a Lamborghini. And don't forget to like and subscribe and click the notification bell for more great videos and content from BTP Fusion.